Okay, so at this point in time, I have been placed at a foster home in St. Augustine, Florida, with an older single lady who is just so understanding and so caring, and just, I did a lot of growing while I was there. I was placed with her for almost a year and a half. I stayed with her until my 18th birthday. I was going to school, but I really wasn't doing that well in school. I really wasn't interested in it. But she encouraged me to at least get my GED. So I did. I got my GED. And I kind of just took the summer off. Just hung around, hung out. I was living in a motel. She got me a room in a motel. And I cleaned the hotel for the people that owned it. That's how I paid my rent. And during this process, while I was with her, I was actually able to find out, who I was and what it was that I wanted out of life and what I wanted to do with my life. And I started finding out, what I liked, what I didn't like. So much of my life had just been, somebody else's lifestyle forced upon me. And I just really didn't know who I was or what I really wanted. Now, I was still using pot. I'm definitely a pothead. I've been using pot for a long time, and she didn't condone it. I wasn't allowed to smoke in the house, but she didn't condone it. Actually, on my 18th birthday, she rolled a big fat joint. She got one of her friends to roll it, and she smoked this big fat joint with me on my 18th birthday. I'll never forget that. But she was just the sweetest, kindest person, and, she just had so much understanding, and she really wanted me to talk to the people that adopted me. She just said that there was just something there that just wasn't right, and she thought that I should go back and talk to them. So after I got married, I met the guy that was my husband while I was living with her in foster care. His family moved in across the street from me, and he joined the Navy, and me and him got married after he joined the Navy. And after I got married, I decided to go back and talk to the people that had adopted me. So I called them one day, and, I called them every once in a blue moon here and there, just to see how they were doing. And I called them and told them that, I wanted to see them, that, there was some things I wanted to talk to them about, and so on and so forth. So I set up basically let them know when I'm going to be coming by. And whenever I get there, they're not home. But they left a note on the door saying that they would be there at like 3:30 or something, and it was like 2 o'clock. Well, their daughter pulled up. Their daughter's a lot older than I am. She's the middle child, and her younger brother actually has children older than me. So, if she had kids, they would probably be older than I was. Well, anyways, me and her were just sitting down talking, she was asking me different questions, like, why did I act the way that I acted, and why did I behave the way that I behaved, and this, so on and so forth, And I had told her, I was like, well, I've been diagnosed as bipolar. I also have post-traumatic stress syndrome. And she was like, why would you have post-traumatic stress syndrome? She's like, why would you have, mental health problems? She was just like, you were just a bad kid that nobody could handle. So I don't understand why you would have these different problems. And I was just kind of looked at her and was like, no, it wasn't that I was just a bad kid. Sexual abuse does a lot to you, things that you can't even explain or understand, especially whenever it happens as young as it happened to me. And she just looked at me. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I was sexually abused. That's why I was taken away from my parents. And she just looked at me, and I was like, what, y'all didn't know that? And she was like, nobody ever told us that. And then she just looked at me and she goes, is this more of your lies? And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You think I would lie about something like this? I was like, are you serious? I was like, seriously. They adopted me not knowing that I was sexually abused. And she was just like, no. And if they did, they never said anything about it to us. And they talked pretty in depth with their children about adopting me. And I was just like, you've got to be joking me. So whenever they got there, their daughter was just like, Mom, Dad, Joelle told me something, and I believe her. I know that she's done a lot in the past and has hurt us a lot and has lied a lot, but I really believe her, and I want to look at the paperwork that you guys were given whenever you were looking into adopting her. So they went and pulled out their little files and stuff like that, and I read all the paperwork that they had received, and the state of Florida never once mentioned that I was sexually abused. In one of the physicals, in the physical reports, it said that that my hymen had been ruptured, and this was a physical from whenever I was 9 years old. But that is the only thing that any of the paperwork said. It never said anything about sexual abuse, nothing like that. So I just couldn't believe that the state of Florida allowed me to be adopted and allowed those people to adopt me, not knowing fully what they were getting themselves into. And I really blame the state of Florida for that adoption going wrong. I believe that the people that were looking to adopt me and they're interested in adopting me, that if they had given them that piece of information, that maybe that would have, maybe they would have got that information and realized that they couldn't handle a child like me. But then again, maybe somebody else that wanted to adopt me would have had that information and would have known exactly what to do to help me, to move forward and to grow and, to live a happy, healthy life. So I hold the state of Florida really responsible for that. It just blows my mind that you can adopt a child and not, in the state of Florida, not give you all the information about their case, so that you can be fully prepared to deal with, what happens and what may come. So that really frustrated me, that really aggravated me, but I think that it gave them a little bit more of understanding. Well, maybe not understanding, but I think that they were sympathetic towards me. I call them every year on Christmas. I'm 32 now. I call them once a year on Christmas. They're really old now, and they're doing okay. They have some health problems and stuff, but now that I know what I know, I really don't hold a lot against them. They were still going to be the parents that they were going to be regardless. So there's a lot of stuff I do hold against them, but at the same point in time, there's a lot of stuff I don't, because they weren't given everything that they needed to know about me in order to help me and raise me to be a happy, healthy person. So I really don't hold that against them. But that's my childhood. That's what I've endured. And that's what I've had to overcome. This is just basically, I've dealt with the sexual abuse and the being moved around a lot. I haven't gotten to my addiction yet. Please understand that, some of this time frame, towards the end of it, there was some addiction going on. I was at the beginning stage of my addiction, but I'll get into that later. I think I've done enough for the day. I haven't thought about or talked about any of this stuff in such a long time, but I think it's really therapeutic for me. I think this did a lot of good for me to just get it out, to be able to actually verbalize everything and to just say it and to just go through the whole series of all of it, and just get it out. And now it's actually documented so that I can go back and psychoanalyze myself, maybe. But I really think this did a lot of good for me. And, I hope that if you're watching this, that, maybe it'll help you to be able to share your story or come to the realization of what really did happen to you. I know that's really hard. It's really hard for me to, just say everything. I've been kind of nonchalant about this whole situation, but even though I'm 32 years old and this happened so many years ago, it still just seems like it didn't happen to me. Like I was, the other person being told the story, not the person that the story actually happened to. So thank you for listening. Check out some more videos of me. I got a couple of them going on, and I plan to keep this up. I feel this is really therapeutic for me, so I plan to keep posting videos. So subscribe, friend, comment, whatever you want. Just be polite, don't be nasty, and I'll get back to you. So thanks again for listening.